Okay. So this is a group of artists who are living in a garret. It's a very inexpensive, very cold, very hard times, hardly anything to eat. They don't always pay their rent on time.
No, they don't. Yeah, do they ever? I don't think they ever have. They always find a way to get out of it, you know. That's kind of trick, and that's what this scene in the first act shows. Benoit comes to the door after they've been, you know, Chonard just got a job as a musician, teaching lessons and playing the violin, and was told to play until the parrot dies. And so he kills the parrot so he can get his money. And then he leaves, coming home with this money and this firewood and, you know, some liquor and some, you know, ready to have a good time. But he says, let's save this for later so we can go out tonight. It's Christmas Eve. We'll go to Café Momus. Right then, there's a knock at the door. It's Afito. It's Benoit coming for his rent. So we have to figure out a way to get out of that.
Okay, so here we have that scene now by the members of the cast from DePaul University.
I don't know if he's a really good poet or not. He might actually not be that good. But he's writing a piece for the Castore. The beaver in Italian is the name of the paper he's writing for. Mimi there's a knock at the door, and Mimi comes in. But she's seemingly ill, or maybe because she came up the stairs, she's out of breath. And she drops her key. Who knows if it's on purpose or on accident? I don't know. But apparently her candle has been say spento lume. Her candle is like gone out. So she's asked me to light her candle again. Is that implying anything, everyone out there? I don't know. So he lights her candle. She goes back out, and it goes out again. Rodolfo, can you get the hint, buddy? And Rodolfo says, well, look, my candle went out too. Oh, heavens. So now they're wandering around in the darkness, and while Rodolfo finds her key and pretends like he didn't find it, and then finds her hand in the darkness. And it starts the famous tenorio, Che gelida manina, where he says, "Se la lasci riscaldare, let me rewarm this. Your hand is, your tiny hand is so cold, and let me warm it in my own." And he continues to practice his poetry on me.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So if somebody starts at age 4 singing, will they have a voice like that?
Yep, it's a guarantee.
That's good tenor singing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. There's always a constant. You're constantly growing and working on it. So,
even Placido Domingo's still at it, and he talks about still moving into new roles. I guess he's become more a baritone now. His voice is
As we get older, it usually gets a little heavier and thicker. So, like, even this is recorded when I did go in last summer. So my voice is heavier than this now. You think? Or no?
Not like noticeably.
Maybe it feels like it to me.
And I guess with sopranos, when you get older, you just sign on as the education coordinator.
Yeah, you need to stop singing.
That's awful what happens to
just
women.
Just wobble. Wah! Yeah.
So then we have the scene at the cafe, and everything is rosy, and then we come back to the Bohemians a year later at Christmas time again.
It's winter, and it's not exactly Christmas. Maybe after Christmas, but it's winter time for sure.
Yeah, Ashley's been part of this.
Yes.
Quintet.
Just the end.
Quartet.
Yep, just 4 of us. Yes, I am in there in the end. But at the beginning, it's set like outside, like the borders of Paris. Is that correct? Yeah. And it's about 3 in the morning, I believe, and it's freezing outside. Everybody's cold, and there's a little, what is it, like a cafe, a little restaurant, tavern outside there, and so Marcello and Musetta are there. Just that's where they've been living for a while, and Rodolfo is also there. And at the beginning of the act, you see Mimi coming, coughing and freezing, and asking where she might be able to find Marcello so that she can come and talk to him. And so she asks this woman who works at this tavern, and she goes and gets Marcello, and he comes outside to talk to Mimi, and after some pleasantries, she finally is just like, there's problems between me and Rodolfo. We're having problems. He's always jealous all the time, always angry. We're always fighting. And Marcello tells her that, you know, if it doesn't, you know, if love isn't easy, then you should just break up. And, you know, if you were more like me, Musetta and myself, then, you know, you would just know that you're meant for each other and meant to be together.
And what is Musetta doing right now?
Musetta is currently inside, probably not wearing all of her clothes, and singing for all of the men that are in the tavern right now. And, yeah. So they obviously have a very healthy relationship. Clearly healthy. And so then Marcello walks over to the tavern to see if Rodolfo is awake. He says yes, he is. So he takes Mimi, like, and kind of hides her away.
He actually tells Mimi, just go home. To go away. Mimi decides to hide and
she hides.
Yeah, as people do in opera, always.
So there's always hiding.
Yeah.
And so Rodolfo comes out and, you know, is like, finally we can talk. We're able to be together. I'm leaving Mimi because she is a flirt. She's not loyal to me. And Marcello doesn't believe him. It's like, are you sure you're not just jealous and picking fights with her? Are you sure it's not just you? And finally Rodolfo breaks down and says that, you know, it's not that she's a flirt, it's that I think she's dying, you know, and I can't do anything to help her. Yeah. And of course Mimi is hiding, as people do in operas, and she hears all of this and realizes that she is indeed dying, and she is overcome and starts to have a coughing attack because she has consumption. And she kind of falls onto Rodolfo and Marcello, and they kind of are reunited at this point. And at this very moment you hear Musetta laughing in the tavern, you know, and Marcello is immediately jealous and runs in to find out what's going on. And at this moment you have the famous Donderietta from Mimi, where she tells Rodolfo goodbye. But keeps calling him back, you know.
And she doesn't
really want to leave him, but she thinks that this might be right. And she has every intention of leaving, but they have this beautiful little duet about, you know, she's talking about no more jealousy, and he's saying no more kisses. And they finally come to the conclusion that, you know, you don't want to be apart in winter, and they decide to stay together until the spring. And Musetta and Marcello then emerge from the tavern and are fighting during this moment. So you have this wonderful quartet between Rodolfo and Mimi and Marcello and Musetta, and Marcello and Musetta are fighting, and Rodolfo and Mimi are telling each other how much they love each other and that they're going to stay together. And eventually Musetta and Marcello storm off, and Rodolfo and Mimi accept that they're going to be together until spring and walk off together, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
The tables have been turned.
Name the singers.
The singers in this act. Let's see. Rodolfo as Stephen Wallace, and Marcello is Yuri Juracek, and Musetta is myself, Ashlie McIntire, and Mimi are, depending on the evening that you attend, Susanna Bayless and Brittany Heppel.
Okay, great. Okay, so here we go with the quartet.